I think the real question is, do they have the ability to keep people coming out in certain states to vote for Joe Biden? I don't know that the Trump people have that ability. Joe Biden might. And let's play this clip. I was on Hayes, and I didn't get to this point really on Friday when we were talking about Biden's appearance on with Charlamagne the God, the Breakfast Club. Right. It's a radio show. Maybe, I don't know if it's the most popular radio show, morning show in terms of Black audience, but I think so. And folks I've talked to over the weekend are the people are getting a little bit like annoyed at how like confident Joe Biden is when it comes to the African American vote. Like, and this, let's play this clip. Does the clip include any of Charlamagne, that exchange?
No, this is just your
okay.
response.
Well, the exchange goes like this. Charlamagne says, I can't remember what Charlamagne says that inspires Biden to say, hey, if you're thinking of voting for Trump over me, you ain't black. Now, he was joking. He was obviously not telling Charlamagne that he's not black, but it was like, that's how confident I am. And then Charlamagne's like, well, wait a second. And he goes, I reauthorized the Voting Rights Act 20 times over the course of 20 years. And I got endorsed by the NAACP, 6 times or whatever it was. And Charlamagne says, well, I want something to bring back to my community.
Yeah.
And that part is the most revealing part about this exchange in my mind. Here's what I said on Hayes. And I also just, if you're at work, just be careful because my mustache really pops on this. So.
Well, what I was also struck was by Charlamagne's follow-up, which is I want something material to bring back to my community. And Joe Biden had no answer for that. I mean, he said, I've authorized the Voting Rights Act. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Every single senator in 2006 or 7, I mean, except for maybe 4, and I'm including the vast majority of Republicans, also reauthorized the Voting Rights Act. That's not that should be a baseline, never mind for a Democratic senator, any senator for that matter. And so the fact that he couldn't respond.
We don't need, the real problem is that Joe Biden can't come out and say, here's my policy, and he may have some, I don't know. But here are my policy prescriptions that are actually like a reason to vote for me that isn't a referendum on Donald Trump. And I mean, without a doubt, if Joe Biden wins, it's going to be because it's a referendum on Donald Trump.
Well, that's
but if Joe Biden loses, it's going to be because he could not get enough people to come out and vote for him in key states, and particularly key constituencies like African-American voters, who are maybe the key constituency for a Joe Biden win. And he should be in that moment instead of saying like, hey, it's me or Donald Trump, take it or leave it, which I think is a compelling rationale. I get that, but I can say that, but I'm not the candidate. I don't have the ability to say, well, wait a second. We're going to do X, we're going to do Y, we're going to do Z. These are crucially needed by the African-American community. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. He's not bringing any of that.
Well, I think what's so great about what Charlamagne's doing is he's doing what all of us are trying to get other constituency groups to do. Feminists they're just sitting on the sidelines. They're quiet. They're not saying, listen, okay, you want to pick a female VP? Change your committee. That's your selection committee.
Right.
Listen, these are the things. They're just sitting on the sidelines. So, thank God he actually had key negotiation points, because ultimately at the end of the day, and this is like the harsh reality that Democrats actually have to wake up to and look at those numbers from 2016, Hillary Clinton did not get the numbers she needed in the African-American community, or basically any community. Every voter constituency was depressed, except women over the age of 50. and that was, and they say that what women over the age of 50 didn't turn out. No, they turned out exactly where they had historically. They were trying to win over the Republican white women that never voted for Democrats. Right. They always voted for Republicans. So ultimately, it was those making under $50,000 a year of every demographic. Maybe Latinos spiked a little bit, but for the most part, he has to take this seriously, because if they're going to depress the vote in Florida by putting poll taxes forward, and who knows what else they'll do, they're going to depress the vote in Michigan and Wisconsin with a history of suppressing the vote, like real voter suppression, then he has to take every single vote seriously and not just say, I am not Trump, because that's what Hillary did. And we saw where that went. Yep.
I agree totally.
Minimal effort.
And at the very least, don't go on there and say I'm not Trump, nah. I mean, that's basically what it was. Like, I'm going to shove this in your face. Like, you got nowhere else to go.
That's exactly what
it is. It may be the case that, and from my perspective, we have nowhere else to go. But there's a lot of people out there. The candidate still has to do some work and convince people they may not have anywhere else to go, but they also may decide not to go anywhere.
Well, what I'm starting to worry about is no politician who's really been in public life this long would articulate that out loud unless it was like Hillary Clinton. I think that there's something cognitively, maybe these are private conversations that are happening behind the scenes, like Rob, and he's just saying them out loud.
That's exactly what I think. That's exactly what I think. I mean, you get that almost with Trump too, right? It's like somebody whispers in his ear. He's just like, hydroxychloroquine. And I think that Biden has he's not doing the basic in that interview. He's not doing the basic politicianing, which is if you want to make this about Trump, then don't say dumbass things.
Right.
Don't say dumbass things. Don't be all, self-righteous when you get a legitimate question of what are you going to do for the Black community? Have an answer. For God's sakes. I mean, do the basic, prep for your interview. Because apparently they were very worried about putting Biden on there.
They should have been.
And they should have been. But apparently, their worry did not translate into here are the things that you're going to go on and actually have an informed conversation. A little bit annoying.